Manhattan. You can't
That's awesome.
go you can't go 10 blocks without meeting 1,000 people.
Awesome. Well, is she ready to talk with us? Can we talk with her and find out how she did this? I see the paper you sent us, and I'm gonna show you guys this. This is my name is Jessica Frisco, and I'm running as a pledged delegate for Bernie Sanders. And my understanding is Jessica is 21. Yeah, 20. I believe Bernie is one of the most. I'm reading second paragraph here, folks. I believe Bernie is one of the most courageous politicians of our time. At 21 years old, well, she's talking at 21 years old. He was arrested. We'll find out how old Jessica is in a minute. I believe she's 21 as well. But what's awesome about this, everybody, is that here is somebody younger than me, everyone, who has taken the time to get involved in the democracy, and we cannot thank her enough. Everybody, welcome Jessica Frisco. Hi, Jessica. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for coming on the show, and thank you for taking part in your democracy.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So tell me, what's the story? How did you do this?
The voter registration, you mean, or just?
Becoming a pledged delegate for Bernie Sanders. I want to know that piece.
Sure. Well, so I'm currently a graduate student studying health policy and management, and I worked for an assemblyman over the past summer, and that was around the time that Bernie announced that he was running for president, and I slowly just got interested in his campaign and politics in general. And yeah, I volunteered in the summer to host a first event that he was having, July 29th. It was like the initial streaming party. And from there, I just met people who were also interested in Bernie, and it kind of snowballed into this huge movement across New York City. And I decided that I was really committed to the campaign and to this movement, and wanted to run as a delegate and represent Bernie at the convention. Yeah, one thing just kind of led to another.
That's awesome. It's badass. Thank you. Because I know it takes a lot of work to do what you're doing. A lot of work. So thank you. Thank you for doing that. You represent. You are taking action beyond a vote, and I think that's fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, what you're doing here right now tonight is very important, right? You guys are doing all you can to register as many people you can before tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah, so a couple weeks ago, a bunch of organizers from across Manhattan, there were people from Washington Heights for Bernie, Chelsea for Bernie, all these different groups that had kind of organically formed across Manhattan. The leaders of those groups came together, and we realized that there was no real organized voter registration outreach going on.
Right.
And, Bernie's biggest support comes from college students. He has almost 90% support from young people 18 to 24. And so, and the other thing is that a lot of people on college campuses are unregistered because they're from out of state, or, they're only allowed to vote the first time this year because they just turned 18. So these college campuses were like hot pockets of unregistered Bernie supporters. So a group of us came up with this plan to just have a voter registration event at every college across Manhattan every day from the day that we met until March 25th, which was the deadline. And we actually almost achieved that. We set up about 50 voter registration events across all of Manhattan at these colleges, and people just really stepped up to volunteer at those events, and the registrations just poured in. And I don't know if Neo showed you guys the room, but we collected about 5,000 new registrations just in the last 3 weeks, which is unbelievable.
That's incredible. That really is incredible. And I'm sorry to say that we were having bandwidth issues there, and you've frozen on the screen, and so I was just showing your paper the whole time. But that was awesome. Thank you for saying all of that. That was great. And don't worry, we showed a nice picture, so don't look that bad. Your free space is perfectly fine. But thank you so much for doing what you're doing. Neo did show me a stack. It sounds like you guys are really kicking ass. So.
Yeah, I actually did not expect this many forms to come in today. I thought we were going to have about 500, and we had 20 volunteers, and I thought we would just, enter all the data for them, get them in, and throughout the night, people were saying, can I drop off my forms? I have more forms, got more today, and now we have a stack of about 2,000, so we're rushing to get those finished.
You have 2,000 registration.
Yes. And
Holy shit.
I know that Brooklyn, especially the Bushwick Burners, they've been doing a similar effort. As soon as they realized what we realized that college students were unregistered in such large numbers, they did the exact same thing, and they've been collecting thousands as well. So across New York City, we've had just an enormous increase in the number of registered voters. Exact same thing, and they've done their effort.
Everybody, I apologize. We're going to cut right over to the event right now. It's going on right now. I just wanted you to hear how many registrations they had in New York and listen to that story. But my understanding is we have a live stream. It's happening right now. We have a good feed. Let me cut to it so we can get to this, because I see some Native Americans up there on the podium, and I'd like to hear what they have to say. 1 minute. Get this framed out, and we will go to it. Apologize for the loud there.
Could benefit us all, whether it be financially
Here we go.
or in preserving our civil rights, not just for Native Americans, but all Americans. So I very much encourage everyone to vote Bernie Sanders to be our next United States president. Let's go, Bernie! Thank you. Burn it! Burn it!
Well, that was exciting. Sorry we missed most of that. Oh, here we go. Here comes somebody else.
Good evening, Yakima and neighbors from all around. Now, I read the naysayers right that Yakima isn't feeling the burn. Are you feeling the burn? Susan Soto Palmer. I'm a native Texan who found this beautiful state and magnificent valley in 2010. In 2011, I relocated to Yakima and now call Yakima home. I am a legal assistant by trade and a sexual assault volunteer, CASA guardian ad litem, local chair of the Yakima County Democrats, and community activist by passion. I am here to personally welcome, support, and endorse Senator Bernie Sanders as our next President of the United States. Faced tremendous challenges growing up in the South. I believed that my vote didn't matter, that my voice did not count, that we don't discuss politics. It wasn't until 2012, when I was enlightened by the presidential election, that I became activated and engaged. I began organizing with many grassroots groups, from local Yakima County Dream Team to the May Day March organizers, and of course the local Democrats. Knocking on some of your doors, meeting some of you at rallies and at community events and at vigils here and throughout. I've heard many of your trials and tribulations, and they've weighed heavily on me. So even with the precious few resources we had and have in Yakima, I and many of my Democratic friends and nonpartisan grassroots organizers carried on trying to reach each and every one of you. Then changes began. In 2015, due to the Voting Rights Act litigation in Yakima City, we witnessed the historical election of our now 7-district city council, which includes our first Jewish female assistant mayor, Holly Cousins, our first elected Latina councilwoman, Dulce Gutierrez, Carmen Mendez, and Mayor Avina Gutierrez. You know, I've thought a lot about what I would say to you today, but this, I believe, is the most significant. I, like you, have had many successful events and many devastating events in my life. I was raised to believe in the American dream. I've worked hard. I've struggled to obtain a higher education, but my American dream, like many of you, has been shattered. And every time I dig myself out of a hole, another crisis seems to devastate me and my family. Before Senator Sanders was a candidate, I saw videos of him fighting for we, the people. And I dreamed, if only a true public servant like Senator Sanders would run for president, we, the people, might have a chance. So now, my dream is a reality, and here, we, the people, are. This is the rarest of opportunities to elect Senator Sanders as our next president. I believe a President Sanders will lead us in stopping deportations that rip our hard-working, undocumented families apart. Recognizing our Native American community, specifically the Yakima Nation, for their value and inherent sovereign rights. And in asking the wealthy to pay their fair share so that we can thrive. So, my friends, if you believe as I do that the time is now, it is upon us to caucus this Saturday, March 26th, for Bernie Sanders. Because when Bernie Sanders wins, we the people win. Now please help me welcome the next President of the United States, Senator Bernie Sanders.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, when Thank you. Oh. When we decided to come to Yakima, somebody said, well, I think we can get a few thousand people out. We did not expect 7,000 people out. This is an unbelievable turnout, and I thank all of you so much for coming out. Let me also thank the Yakima dancers for their performance. Michelle Minato, Deshaun Takil, and let me thank Susan Palmer for that very generous introduction. But mostly, let me thank all of you for being here this afternoon, this evening. Now, funny thing happened. We began this campaign about 10 months ago, and when we began this campaign, and this should give everybody hope for America, I think, we began this campaign and we were considered by the media and all of the experts to be a fringe candidacy, you know, not to be taken very seriously. Well, a lot has happened in the last 10 months. When we began this campaign, we were about 70 points behind Secretary Clinton in the polls. There was a poll. No, the story gets better. That was the 10 months ago, we were 70 points out. There was a poll that came out today, had us 1 point ahead. Campaign, some of the people said, well, maybe Bernie will be able to carry his home state of Vermont. Well, looks like we have carried 11 states up to now. And with your help at the caucus on Saturday, we're going to win Washington. As you may know, on Tuesday, we won Idaho and Utah with over 75% of the vote. If we can do well here in Washington and do well in Hawaii and well in Alaska, we have a road to victory. But we have got to win, obviously, not only the Democratic nomination, we have to win the general election, whether it's against Mr. Trump or anyone else. So I want to give you some good news on that. There was a CNN poll just came out a few days ago, and this is what it said. It said that Secretary Clinton would do well against Mr. Trump. She'd beat him by 12 points. We beat him by 20 points. Now, I was a little bit disappointed. We want to beat him by more, but 20 points is a good place to start from. That same poll had Secretary Clinton losing to Governor Kasich by 6 points. We were beating Kasich by 6 points. That same poll had Secretary Clinton tied with Ted Cruz. We were beating him by 13 points. And this is not just one poll. This is poll after poll after poll. So the message is, if Democrats want to make sure that somebody like a Donald Trump does not get elected president, you're looking at the candidate who's going to beat him. And there is a reason why our campaign has done so well. And that is that we are doing something very unusual in contemporary American politics. We are telling the truth. Now, as all of you know, whether it's in our own personal lives or politically, the truth is not always pleasant. Sometimes it is hard to deal with, but we cannot go forward unless we grapple with the real issues facing our country. We cannot sweep them under the rug. Issue number one. People have fought and died to defend American democracy, and we owe a deep debt of gratitude to all of the veterans. But right now, as a result of this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision, billionaires and their super PACs are undermining American democracy. Together, we are going to overturn that Supreme Court decision. Democracy is one person, one vote. Number two, you got Republican governors all over this country who are trying to suppress the vote. They are trying to keep African Americans and Latinos and poor people and young people and old people from participating in the political process. We have, as a nation, one of the lowest voter turnouts of any major country. Our job is to increase voter turnout, not decrease it. Our job is to enhance and strengthen democracy, not undermine democracy. So I say to all of these cowardly Republican governors, if you don't have the guts to run in a free and fair election, get another job, get out of politics. See, and what these governors are afraid of is what we are seeing right here this evening. This is democracy in action. This is the people standing up. And they don't want that. They don't want that. They don't want working people to vote, low-income people to vote, minorities to vote. But on Saturday, by the way, we are going to show them what democracy looks like with the largest voter turnout. This campaign is not only taking on a corrupt campaign finance system, it is taking on a rigged economy. This is what a rigged economy looks like. It looks like the top 0.1% owning is almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. A rigged economy is when you have the 20 wealthiest people owning more wealth than the bottom half of America, 150 million people. This is what a rigged economy looks like. Anyone here know who the wealthiest family in America is? The Walton family that owns Walmart. This one family owns more wealth than the bottom 40% of the American people. But here is what is really rigged. Walmart pays wages to its workers that are so low that many of these workers are on Medicaid, food stamps, or affordable housing. I've been told that there are Walmart employees in this area that don't earn enough money to have an apartment. They're sleeping out in their cars. Now, what a rigged economy means is that working people all over this country are paying higher taxes to pay for the food stamps and the Medicaid to subsidize the wealthiest family in America. That's wrong. So I say to the Walton family, get off of welfare, pay your workers a living wage. When we talk about a rigged economy, what that economy looks like is that in my state of Vermont and here in Washington, we have people working not one job, but 2 jobs or 3 jobs. We have people working longer and longer hours for lower and lower wages. We have mom working, we got dad working, we got the kids working, and at the end of all of that, 58% of all new income generated goes to the top 1%. What we are going to do is something pretty radical nowadays. We're going to create an economy that works for all of us, not just the 1%. But it's not only a corrupt campaign finance system and the undermining of democracy in our country. It is not only a rigged economy where the rich get richer and almost everyone else gets poorer. It is also a broken criminal justice system. This is the wealthiest country in the history of the world. We should not be having more people in jail than any other country on earth. Today, throughout this country, youth unemployment is off the charts. For white kids who graduated high school, youth unemployment is 33%. For Latino kids, 36%. For African American kids, 51%. So this is what we are going to do. We are going to invest in our young people in jobs and education, not jails and incarceration. I want to see this country not have more people in jail than any other country, but have the best educated workforce in the world. This campaign is talking to the American people and not just wealthy campaign contributors. And this is what we are hearing. We are hearing from workers who say, Bernie, we can't make it on $8 or $9 or $10 an hour. Working and working, we're going nowhere in a hurry. And that is why I believe nationally we have got to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. If somebody is working 40 hours a week, that person should not be living in poverty. That person should have some security. This campaign is listening to senior citizens and disabled veterans. You know, a country is judged not by how many millionaires and billionaires it has. A country is judged by how it treats the weakest and most vulnerable amongst us. Today in America, there are millions of seniors and disabled veterans trying to make it on $11,000, $12,000 a year Social Security. And you know what? They cannot make it on $11,000 or $12,000. Nobody can. And now what we've got is a lot of Republicans running all over the country saying they want to cut Social Security. You're right. We have some very bad news for those Republicans. We're not going to cut Social Security. We're going to expand Social Security benefits. This campaign is listening to women. And what women are saying is, how does it happen, Bernie, that I go to work and I end up making 79 cents on the dollar compared to men? That is wrong. That is nothing more than old-fashioned sexism. And I know that every man in this arena will stand with the women as we fight for pay equity. This campaign is listening to young people. And what young people are telling me is, how does it happen, Bernie, that for the first time in the modern history of America, our generation may have a lower standard of living than our parents? My dad came to this country from Poland without a nickel in his pocket. He never made any money. But his dream was that his kids would do better than he did, and that's what happened. That is the American dream. And it is not acceptable to me that for millions of families, that dream is disappearing. And what young people also tell me is, you know, our teachers, our parents, everybody told us how important it was for us to get all of the education that we could. That education was so important. Well, if education was so important, how come we left school $30,000 or $50,000 in debt? And those young people, all right, I have talked to people who are paying off their student debt for decades. People who are paying half of their income in student debt repayment. Now, we should not be punishing young people for getting an education. We should be rewarding them. Education is what life is about. They should not have to be crippled economically for decades for doing what is the right thing. 50 years ago, when we talked about public education, it was quite appropriate to talk about that, meaning first grade through 12th grade free public education. The world has changed. The economy has changed. People today need more education than they used to. And that is why I believe that when we talk about public education in the year 2016, we must be talking about making public colleges and universities tuition free. That is not a radical idea. It exists already in Germany and Scandinavia, countries all over the world who have the wisdom to invest in their young people and the future of their countries. And we also, when we do that, you know what that means? What that means is that every kid in the state of Washington in the 4th grade or the 6th grade, kids who came from families like mine that did not have a lot of money, those kids will know that if they study hard and do well in school, regardless of the income of their families, they will get a college education. What that also means, and what we have also got to do, is to significantly lower the student debt burden facing millions of Americans. And one way we can do that is to allow people with student debt to refinance their loans at the lowest possible interest rates they can find. What this campaign is about is asking people to think outside of the box, not to accept the status quo or think that what exists today has to go on year after year after year. We can create an educational system where all of our people get the education they need regardless of their income. That is not a radical idea. This campaign is listening to the Latino community. And I want to thank, just before we came up here, I had the opportunity to meet with some of the leaders in that community. And what I hear from the Latino community are several things. Number one, we have 11 million undocumented people in this country, and many of those people are living under the shadows. They are living in fear, and they want, and I want, a comprehensive immigration reform bill. And a path toward citizenship. We have got to stop the exploitation of undocumented people that is taking place today. And if Congress does not do its job and pass comprehensive immigration reform, I will use the executive powers of the presidency to make it happen. Immigration reform is uniting families, not dividing families. Immigration reform is ending the deportations that are taking place right now. This campaign is listening to our brothers and sisters in the Native American community. And I just had the honor of meeting with some of the leaders of the Yakima Nation, and I appreciate that opportunity. Everyone who has studied American history for 5 minutes knows that the way this country, and even before we were a country, treated the Native Americans is absolutely shameful. Native Americans have been lied to, they have been cheated, and treaties negotiated in good faith have been broken. This country owes so much to the first Americans. Some of the best parts of our culture come from Native Americans, and perhaps more than any other people, the Native American people have taught us respect for the environment, understanding that if this planet is to survive, we have got to live with nature, be a part of nature. And that we cannot expect this planet to survive if we destroy nature. If elected president, there will be a new relationship with the Native American community. And this campaign is listening to our brothers and sisters in the African American community. And they are asking, how does it happen that we could spend trillions of dollars fighting a war in Iraq that we never should have fought? And yet minority neighborhoods like Flint, Michigan, and other cities all over this country are falling apart. Kids in these communities are not getting the education they deserve. Housing is abysmal. Unemployment is sky high, and health care is often not available. It is time to change our national priorities. It is time to stop corporate welfare. It is time to stop giving billionaires tax breaks. Let us reinvest in inner city America and rebuild those communities. And when we talk about rebuilding our communities and our infrastructure, understand that Flint, Michigan is not the only city in America that has serious water problems. Hundreds of communities do, and in many more communities, our bridges are falling apart, our roads are undrivable, our rail system is falling behind other countries, our levees and dams and airports need work. And that is why I believe that we've got to make $1 trillion investment, rebuild our infrastructure, and create 13 million jobs. We can rebuild our infrastructure. Think of what it means in America. New bridges, better roads, better water systems, and we create millions of jobs doing it. That's an imperative. The other, and when we talk about the crises that we face, I am a member of the Senate Committee on the Environment, and let me report to you that the scientific community is virtually unanimous. Climate change is real. It is caused by human activity. And here's what the scientists also say, is that if we do not get our act together in the next few years, We're going to see more drought, more floods, more extreme weather disturbances, more acidification of the ocean, more rising sea levels, more international conflict as people fight over limited natural resources. We have a moral responsibility to leave this planet in a way that is healthy and habitable for future generations. And together, we are going to take on the greed of the fossil fuel industry. We are going to tell them that their short-term profits are not more important than the future of this planet. Now, I have been criticized for saying this, so I'll say it again. I believe that health care is a right of all people, not a privilege. Now, the Affordable Care Act, which I strongly supported, has done some very good things. It has done away with this thing called pre-existing conditions. It has provided health insurance for some 17 million Americans, and it has done away with discrimination against women in terms of the cost of their health care premiums. But today, despite the Affordable Care Act, 29 million people remain uninsured. Many of you are underinsured with high copayments and high deductibles. Is that right? And every day, the American people are getting ripped off by the pharmaceutical industry, which is charging us the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. All over this country, people are going to their doctors. Doctors are writing out a prescription, but 1 out of 5 Americans cannot afford to fill that prescription. That is crazy. And meanwhile, we end up paying by far, spending by far, more money per capita on health care than the people of any other country. That is why I believe we have got to do 2 things. Number 1, guarantee health care to every person as a right. Number 2, create a cost-effective health care system. And the way to do that is through a Medicare for all single-payer program. Now, I believe that when we look at how change in America takes place, and if you just think about this for a moment, you all know change never occurs from the top on down, always occurs from the bottom on up. 100 years ago, brave men and women who are being exploited on the job said, you know what, I'm a worker, but you're not going to treat me like an animal. I am going to form a union. Civil rights movement took place over decade after decade, where black and white and Latino and everybody came together and said, you know what, in America we are going to end discrimination and bigotry and segregation. A 100 years ago today, and some people forgot this, women in America did not have the right to vote, could not get the jobs they wanted, could not go to the schools they wanted. But what happened? Women stood up, and with their male allies, they fought back. Let me give you another example. If we were here 10 years ago, not a long time ago, and somebody stood up and you said, you know, Bernie, I think that by the year 2015, gay marriage will be legal in the United States. Somebody said that, the person next to him would have said, what are you smoking? Which raises a whole other issue. But here is the point. The point is that with enormous courage, the gay community and their straight allies stood up to incredible hatred and bigotry, and what they said is that in America, people should have the right to love whomever they want. And let me give you another example of how change, real change, takes place. If we were here, say, 7 or 8 years ago, and somebody jumped up and said, you know, Bernie, this $7.25 an hour minimum wage, it's a starvation wage, we've got to change that, and what we have to do is raise that minimum wage to $15 an hour. What would have happened if somebody else would have said, $15 an hour, you're crazy. That's double what the federal minimum wage is. You're nuts, it's too high. But you know what happened? Workers in the fast food industry, in McDonald's and at Burger King and at Wendy's, they went out on strike. They stood up, they fought back, and then you know what happened? Right here in Seattle, Washington, $15 an hour. In Los Angeles, in San Francisco, in Oregon, $15 an hour. That is how real change always takes place. It's not some guy sitting up there making that decisions. It is always millions of people demanding that change. And right now, today, 2016, we are in a pivotal moment in American history. And people are looking around them, and they are saying, is America really about having massive levels of income and wealth inequality? Is America about being the only major country not to provide paid family and medical leave? Is America about the only country not to guarantee health care to all people? Should America be the country in the industrialized world which has the highest rate of childhood poverty and has massive problems of homelessness all over America? Should America be the country where our Native American brothers and sisters are living in poverty? Should America be a country which has more people in jail than any other country? Should America be a country in which billionaires are buying elections? Well, that is exactly what the American people are saying. And what this campaign is about is saying, you know what? We can be much more as a people. If we stand together, if we do not allow the Trumps of the world to divide us up, if we stand together as black and white and Latino and Native Americans and Asian Americans, as people who were born in America, people who immigrated into America, as gay or straight, if we stand together, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. tell you why Donald Trump will not become President of the United States. He will not become president because the American people will not vote for somebody who insults Latinos and Mexicans. He will not become president because the American people will not vote for somebody who insults Muslims or women or African Americans or veterans. He will not become president because the American people understand that coming together as a people always trumps dividing us up. The American people understand that working together to support each other, to make each one of our lives better, always trumps selfishness. The American people will not vote for Donald Trump because they understand that every major religion on earth, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, whatever, all of the major religions teach us one very powerful message, that at the end of the day, love trumps hatred. Saturday morning, starting at 10, but I think you got to get there a little earlier than that, will be a very, very important day in American history, because on that day, the people of this great state have an opportunity to show the entire world that the people of Washington are prepared to lead this country into a political revolution. If the voter turnout is high on Saturday morning, we are going to win this. Please bring out your friends and your family. Let's go forward. Thank you all.
Well, hello everybody. I am back. That was Bernie Sanders live in Yakima, Washington, and as we heard there, an incredible crowd, very excited, 7,000 plus, 7,000 people there. They were expecting, they thought, you hear Bernie said, he said, I thought maybe we'd have, here, look, I'm going to show you the crowd scene there. He said, I thought maybe we'd get a couple thousand people. They didn't get just a couple thousand folks, they got 7,000 people in Yakima, Washington for Bernie Sanders. This is a people's movement. This is what it's about. It's about getting up and rising. I don't know if you guys, thank you for being here, everybody. Lots of folks here with us tonight. More than 700 it looks like. Thank you all for being here. I saw something in the comments about there were more than 7 Bernie streams live right now. And I can tell you when we started doing this back in May of 2015, there were not any streams. So I am thrilled that there are now people carrying Bernie Sanders and spreading his message, because that's what it takes. We have to continue to proliferate the message because the establishment media is pushing out a completely different narrative that is not true. And we hear more and more about it here. Some exciting information I need to drop off to you guys. I don't know if you heard earlier, I didn't complete the whole talk with Jessica. Jessica was, here, let me close this off before they do something else. Jessica was is the delegate, Jessica Frisco. the delegate in New York. She's 21 years old, a young woman, just decided to get off her ass and take part in her democracy and do much more than vote. And I don't know if you caught what she said, folks, but what she said there, give me 1 second here. What she said was that she was sitting on right there, her and Neo Valentine, who were volunteers there, and that's what we're looking at, a volunteer party. And this was recorded earlier today. This was a special event, a New York update. They're trying to get 13,000 new voter registrations by tomorrow midnight in New York. And you can do this if you're in New York. You can do it online. There's various methods. They were basically going to college campuses with the voter registration forms and pens and going to college kids and going, are you registered? And fill it out. Now, we'll take care of the rest. You fill it out, we'll take care of the rest. She had 2,000 registrations in her hand. 2,000. And that's not all. She also said that the Sanders campaign, as far as she is aware, the Sanders campaign is not aware of this, that tomorrow they are going to deliver 5,000 to the office. That's huge. That's a big chunk of the 13K that we don't think the campaign is aware of. So that's awesome, but we need more. So now we've got 8K to go. Can we get 8,000 New Yorkers registered to vote by tomorrow midnight or tomorrow 5 p.m., whatever the cutoff? We've been pushing the message there. Just there's I know we're dumping the messages in chat. So let's get that information there. But everybody, this is huge. This is how the people rise. 7,000 people in Yakima, Washington. 5,000 voter registrations in the hand of a 21-year-old woman who got off her ass and said, I am going to take part in my democracy. I'm going to become a delegate in New York, 10th district delegate. It's just an amazing, amazing thing. We are doing this. We are winning. Bernie Sanders, new Bloomberg national poll. Bernie Sanders, 49% over Hillary Clinton. He beats Hillary nationally. And I believe there's a new Reuters poll that says the same. I'll have that for tomorrow, and we'll confirm that. But I just wanted to push that. So, yeah, we're kicking ass, everybody. We're going to go out. Tomorrow is a big day. Tomorrow is a really big day. We've got newsroom in the morning. And things have changed, folks. I thought we were going to have David Spratt, guest from Australia, but the timing is just not going to work out because of where he is and where we are and everything going on. We are going to have somebody else whose name I'm not going to tell you right now because I don't remember. It's Philip, and I don't remember his last name, but this guy wrote the book, Climate Code Red, with David Spratt. He is 100% up to speed on everything. He's one of these climate scientists that can actually tell us the truth. Okay, and we're going to look at a lot of data. Ezra Silk with the climate mobilization has been giving me all sorts of crazy charts and slides and information. So tomorrow we're going to have a Frack Off Friday newsroom with a special guest, and we're going to learn a lot about the truth about what's happening with our climate right now and why we need a World War II style mobilization to defend our planet against the climate change and reverse the damage we've done quickly. We can't just mediate. We can't just mitigate and try to cut back on carbon emissions. We have to end carbon emissions or we're toast. All right, so we're going to do that tomorrow. Then we have Bernie live in Portland. He's in my hometown. I can't go, of course. I'm going to broadcast it here. But we have our very own Jessie Fairs, who's going to go down there. She's got a press pass from Bernie 2016 TV. We're going to hope to bring you some interviews, some special coverage. Hopefully we'll have a stream that's really nice and clear. Then in the evening, big event with Sean Porter and our solo unit. LiveView has worked with us, one of their brand new units right now at the NAB, the National Association of Broadcasters event. And I don't know where NAB is happening this year, but LiveView is at NAB now. With this solo unit, they're demoing it. It just came on the market. And they were generous enough to let us use one for the DC March and for Bernie 2016 TV, for politicalrevolution.tv, for the goal of freedom of speech. They're not taking a side one way or another in a candidate, folks. LiveView is not endorsing anybody. They're endorsing freedom of speech by helping us out with one of these brand new advanced tech upstream units. And we're going to bring you the big rally tomorrow night, which is in Seattle at Safeco Stadium. Big stadium, Bernie Sanders Stadium. I'm not certain. I think there's going to be festivities beforehand, music, something like that. And we'll be bringing you all of that with the solo unit, thanks to LiveView. So those three big things tomorrow. We've got the newsroom in the morning, Frack Off Friday with a special guest. We've got Bernie in Portland, and we've got the Seattle rally. Join us for all three of those tomorrow, folks, and do everything you can to help New York. It's all about New York. We really want to make that push. Yes, we have the big 3 states coming up on Saturday, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. All right, that's Alaska, Hawaii, and Washington, which is why we're in Washington right now. And I think Washington is going to be insane blowout. We'll talk about those 3 states a little bit tomorrow. Yes, of course, we will run a streamathon for the event on Saturday. But till tomorrow, folks, we're going to go out with... give me 1 second to load it up. I got to load it up. By the way, new comment mods, some new wrenches in the conversation. We do have the best conversation on the net. Thank you, guys. It's the way this volunteer org works is everybody works their ass off. And there is a massive army of Bernie 2016 TV volunteers that you don't see behind the scenes. You see a few of them in the chat, but there's so many more doing amazing things behind the scenes that make what I'm doing here look like a piece of cake. And that's it. I wouldn't be here doing this if I didn't have all of these people. If we weren't all working together, if we didn't have an awesome audience, we wouldn't have a conversation at all. So thank you for being here. That's what this is about. Discussing our democracy, becoming educated, working together, fixing the democracy, and making sure Bernie Sanders becomes the next president of the United States. That's what we're doing here together. So thank you for being a part of the conversation, as we say to you all the time. I had the song I knew what I wanted to play, and I got to look at the list because it's one we've heard recently. That's right. Listen, guys, I've been stuck on this tune. It's been in my head, and I just got to play it. Give me 1 second here. Ever since the interview with this guy, I have had his song in my head. I have just becoming a quick McConnell fan. I learned. What I love about this, one of the things about this experience, I'm an old rocker, musician. I love music, love playing it, love listening to it. I love all of it, and I have come across so much amazing new music, just incredible stuff for Bernie Sanders, for political revolution, just music that's not anything you'd hear on top 40 or standard radio. But incredible talent and amazing, inspiring music. And we're going to listen to one of these pieces right now, if I can actually get it cropped up for you here. This is McConnell's Bernie Sanders anthem, Fire Is Ours. And it's badass. And yeah, the piano's real, the fire's real. It certainly is. Feel the burn, everybody. We will see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, for the Real Newsroom, and a special Frack Off Friday guest. Love you all.
I've been lied to, misled, built about what they said, lifted only to be let down. I've been taken for a ride, given power to decide, only to find out I was wrong. But I learned to tell the walls are fake, from the few really fit to run. Just follow the money they've been taking, and the truth will shine like the sun. I'm so tired of lies now, babe. Don't wanna compromise, no way. And I feel the burn for someone who can't be bought, to back the man who's fought for the people of America. College agenda, who's the biggest spender? Party party personality. Sound bad, get it right, entertain him, it's a fight. Pick the one who most looks like me. Don't speak of any real solutions. It's the shock appeal they're looking for. Don't criticize the institution, but I can't take it anymore. Aren't you tired of lies now, baby? It's time for us to rise, no more maybe. And I feel the burn for the truth to come across, to melt away the gloss and reveal the motivations. And you'll feel the burn for integrity to lead, to focus on the needs of the people of America. Somebody's talking at your heartstrings, saying what you want to hear, but they're just a pawn to the real king, playing upon your fear. The love of power is a puppet string, but can't control the love we bring. The fire is out, the hour is now, the tide is set to turn. And I feel the burn to cast aside the chains, salvage what remains of a dream worth defending. And you feel the burn standing up to greed. We're in line with thee, we're the president of America.
Huge